Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
All right, we got a surprise guest with us in the studio today, the godfather of modern-day rockabilly and psychobilly rock, Jim Heath from the Reverend Horton Heat joins us now. Welcome to the Infowar.
Thank you for having us.
It was a couple of years ago, Joe Biggs walked into my office, and he says, hey, have you ever listened to the Reverend Horton Heat? And I said, my Spotify playlist is full of the Reverend Horton Heat. And he says, you're a big fan of Infowars. How did you find out about Alex Jones, and how were you introduced to Infowars?
Well, I kind of the back door. I was listening to a Porter Stansberry thing, and Alex was a guest of his, and was saying all this stuff, and it was kind of like, really, all that's real, and so I got to tune into this guy, and so I tuned in, and I guess that was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I got hooked immediately, so. Besides the great information that Alex puts out there, he's a very entertaining person. So, I mean, even if you're somebody from the left spectrum of political thought, I think that he could still be quite entertaining to those people.
He is. I think a lot of people that don't even like him listen to him, and obviously he's getting more popular, and we're all over the place right now. Not only nationwide, but Infowars is now worldwide, the #1 alternative media outlet, arguably in the world. And Alex told me something interesting one time. He goes, Darren, sometimes I listen to my own show, and it sounds like the most informative, entertaining, provocative show he's ever heard in his life, and other days it sounds like two monkeys doing you-know-what to a football.
Move, bitch! Get out the way! Get out the way, bitch! Get out the way!
Now, one of the big things in the news lately is the rigging of the polls, okay, and also election fraud, and the left seems like it's totally undermining our Constitution and our whole democratic process by simply saying that there could be election fraud. We know there's election fraud. There's always been election fraud. And as far as the polling, those have to be rigged too, because you go in any town USA, Donald Trump is by far the more popular candidate. Hillary Clinton is lucky if she gets 200 or 300 people at her frickin' rallies. Donald Trump is like you. He's like a rock star, right? So he gets thousands of people, very enthusiastic voters that show up all the time, yet he's way behind in the polls. What's that all about?
But I want the cameras to span the room. Go ahead, fellas, watch. They don't turn them. They don't turn them. They don't turn them. Go ahead, turn them. Look, turn the camera. Go ahead. Turn the camera, ma'am. Turn the camera. You with the blonde hair, turn the camera. Show the room. Go ahead. They don't turn them. What about, hey, you in the center, why don't you turn your camera? Show them how many people come to these rallies. Turn them. Go ahead, turn them. Go ahead.
Well, they rigged the polls, and I've heard that they did the same thing with Ronald Reagan. They couldn't believe that he won by such a big margin because the polls had him losing.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
So the polls...
I know that Brexit was supposed to lose as well, and that was down by 10 points the day of the vote.
Right.
And then it won overwhelmingly.
I don't know. I think that I think they want the polls to be skewed to bear out that they're the winners, and I don't see that's that great a strategy. So. Oh, look, Hillary's going to win. Okay, go Hillary, and, I think that I don't see why it hurts them to rig the polls. Helps them because it's meaningless.
Well, I think what they want to do is they want, I just said how Donald Trump supporters are enthusiastic. Yeah. That's what they're trying to stop. So even Fox News had a poll that said Trump supporters are less likely enthusiastic now because of the polls that show how far he is behind. See, so that way they'll stay home. It's like, look, we're not even.
It's done, win. Right?
I'm just going to stay home.
They're trying to demoralize people, and that's. I don't see how that's really that smart of a strategy. They, but But yeah, I think in this particular election, I think that there's a lot of people that because of the bullying tactics, I think there's a lot of people that are afraid to put a Trump sticker on their car, afraid to wear.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them because you know
too.
what? I've got a nice truck. I love my truck, and if I put a Trump bumper sticker on there and I go to the movies, it's going to get keyed. It's going to get egged. My tires will get slashed, and we've seen it happen all across the country. So I mean, chances are that's what's going to happen. All right, one last question. What does America look like with Hillary Clinton as president?
I think we're going to lose more of our freedoms, and that's my key. You know, I'm for freedom, and when you start saying we're going to raise taxes on the middle class, then that's people's freedom you're infringing upon when you do that, and I think the main thing that's in swing here, one of the big, is the Supreme Court justices.
Absolutely.
You know, she's going to, whoever gets in is going to have a chance to really stack it because a lot of those people are going to go away. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's getting older, or like all of them are. But I'm afraid that once she gets in there, that globalist agenda is going to come in, and it's going to be tough, but listen, change a little bit. One thing about this election, whoever gets elected is going to have to deal with a major financial crisis.
Well.
And one of the crazy things, in my belief, is socialism and that policy. Well, Trump could get in, and they'll just blame him. Ron Paul could get elected president, and they'll just say, well, this is because of you, Ron Paul.
But this is where I think that I absolutely agree with you. But I also think that Trump is going to tell everybody what's going on. Look, this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what they're doing, and they're trying to blame me for it, and people will listen. So he's really shedding light on this whole establishment and this whole New World Order system. Yeah. I think he gets in there, we give him a chance, like you said, we hold his feet to the fire. We know what we're getting from Hillary Clinton. We already know what to expect. She has an entire lifetime of corruption, and this would be the most corrupt administration probably in American history if she were to get in.
I call this election the Weekend at Bernie's election. It's Weekend at I even had a candidate named Bernie, Weekend at Bernie's, because it's like socialism is being propped up like it's still alive. Like, here's Bernie, here's his house. He's still alive, and it's failing. It's failing. The Johnson's war on poverty is an abysmal failure, created more poor people.
It's to keep everyone on the plantation.
Yeah,
it's the Democratic plantation.
I never really realized a lot of that until I started finding these. The internet's been a great thing, and that's a whole other issue. Them trying to shut it down, but freedom of information and freedom of thought. It's a beautiful thing, and it really it forces people to think. And I think that the old network thing, 3-network TV network deal, it kind of got people into this thing where they didn't have to think, oh, well, Walter Cronkite said we need a one-world government, so that's what we need.
Well, he's like a father figure that was on our televisions for many, many years. Now we know that with media consolidation, that there's only 6 corporations that pretty much control everything we read, everything we listen to, everything we watch on television. 6 corporations control it all. That's why alternative media is becoming so popular.
Yes, it is. And you guys are doing a great job. And
thank you.
And I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. And on behalf of the crew that went out to the show last night, I have to say that I'm sorry we drank all your beer. We owe you a case of Lone Star Light. All right?
That's okay. Okay, Lone Star Light. All right.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, see, I told you so, that communist Chinese-style net censorship was coming to the web, because it's already here. It's being announced. The way you keep the internet open and free is you get involved more than ever. You don't let them break your will. Go to Infowars.com/app and download an app that took us over a year to develop that we're going to be expanding on the next few months with free video and audio and podcast feeds and breaking news and alerts and so much more. Don't sit by and let the internet and free speech be stolen from you. Take action.